Hello everybody, this is back again another video. Alright guys, today's video is going to be about Roger Federer's retirement. We all know that Roger Federer announced it last week in social media that he will retire from tennis after his last match in Laver Cup, which he just played together with his long-time rival and great friend Rafael Nadal. And I've not done a video in a couple of weeks. I've been super busy. I was, like I've said in my earlier videos, back in Macedonia, in my home country, where I visit some relatives, and now I'm back in Sweden. So I've been really busy with work, kids, wife, you name it, my tennis friends all around the world. So I have tried to do this video earlier, talking about Federer's retirement, because I read your comments. Many of you want to hear my thoughts, my opinions, what I think about Roger Federer, etc, etc. Now I have time to do a video about this topic and just share my thoughts about Federer's retirement and things like that. Even though that I've been accused actually that I'm a Federer hater, and I am not at all a huge Roger Federer fan, which I definitely am. More about later. But what do you want, guys? What do you expect from me? I started this YouTube channel back in 2019 Australian Open, 3.5 years ago. And what has Federer done in 3.5 years since I started this YouTube channel? Has he won any majors in these 3.5 years? No. Last time Federer won a Grand Slam title was back in 2018 Australian Open. Last time Federer won a Masters 1000 title was back in 2019 Miami Open. So Federer has won only one big title since I started my YouTube channel, and that was Miami Open 2019. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Federer's retirement, my thoughts about Federer, his career, his GOAT status, etc, etc. First of all, I got a comment a couple of days ago where one guy wrote that Federer's retirement has hit this dude really hard. I want to answer that dude first before I start talking about Federer. No, my friend, it has not hit me really hard. Hitting me really hard was when my mom passed away last year. The love of my life. That what hit me really hard. My best friend, my closest human being, my love of my life, my beloved mother. That what really hit me hard. Federer retiring has not hit me really hard. Am I happy that Federer is retired? Absolutely not. Am I celebrating that Federer is retiring? Absolutely not. But we all know that everything that has a beginning has also an end. The only thing that never has a beginning or an end is God. He doesn't have a beginning, neither an end. Everything else has a beginning and has an end. So I personally believe Federer will retire next year. I never believed that Federer will play in 2024. I thought that Federer's last year will be in 2023. I believe that he will play one last Wimbledon next year. So I'm a little surprised that he takes his decision already in 2022. Little surprised, not much. Obviously, he's not healthy enough to keep on going. His body is saying, stop it now, Roger. Nobody can defeat Father Time. No, time doesn't show mercy against anyone. Nobody in the world can defeat time. Time doesn't show mercy against no one, and for sure time didn't show mercy towards Federer either. Federer is 41 years old. He has not been healthy the last couple of years in his career. He has done 3 knee surgeries, I believe, the last 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So he was forced to withdraw. He was forced to retire. Easy as that, guys. He just was. And he did that. I always said that the big three, and now I was right about one, the first one, who is saying farewell to his career. And it makes sense that Federer is doing that first because he's the oldest. He is 41 years old. Nadal is the second oldest with 36 years old, and Djokovic, the youngest from the big three with 35 years old. So Federer saying farewell and retiring just makes sense because he's the oldest. And I always said when the big three will retire, they will not do it on top. I don't have the opinion that Federer is retiring on top. For me, retiring on top is when you win a Grand Slam title. A la Pete Sampras, more or less, when Pete won his last Grand Slam title back in 2002 US Open. He didn't play one single match after that, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't say he will retire immediately, but he didn't play one single match after the US Open 2002. So that is more on finishing on top. Roger Federer is not finishing on top, according to me. So I've always said that neither of the big three will finish their careers on top. So that is it. That is my opinion. You maybe agree, maybe don't agree. Anyway, Roger Federer, what has he meant to me? Federer has meant a lot to me, my tennis friends all around the world. I'm a big, huge Federer fan. I have been that since 2001. It was love in the... When I saw Federer for the first time playing tennis was back in 2001, Wimbledon, when he took out Pistol Pete Sampras in that 2001 Wimbledon fourth round in 5 epic sets. And it was love in the first sight. I loved his effortless tennis style, his first strike tennis, his ultra aggressive tennis style, his way of winning points. Federer's playing style is he tries winning tennis matches instead of trying not losing tennis matches. He's not a grinder a la Djokovic, Nadal. Excuse me, all the Nadal and Novak Djokovic fans out there. They are unbelievable tennis players, but they are not Roger Federer. Roger Federer will not go as the greatest tennis player of all time. He will not. Just not. At least not in my opinion. He is one of the 3 greatest tennis players of all time, together with Djokovic and Nadal. For sure, Federer is, but he will not go as the greatest tennis player of all time. He will not. But for sure, Roger Federer will go and be the most spectacular tennis player of all time with success, because we have spectacular tennis players out there who play beautiful tennis a la Stefano Tsitsipas, a la Grigor Dimitrov, a la Denis Shapovalov, to mention 3 tennis players who reminds me a lot about Roger Federer, and all those 3 that I mentioned, they have one single-handed backhand like Roger Federer, Stefano Tsitsipas, Denis Shapovalov, Grigor Dimitrov, but they are not even near as successful as Roger Federer. To be playing low percentage of tennis like Federer does, he takes big cuts on the ball, he plays chip and charge, he attacks the net, he takes the ball early, he pulls the trigger a lot, he goes for the lines a lot. To be able and to be this successful like he has been, with this kind of a low percentage of tennis style, we should never forget that both Djokovic and Nadal, they play high percentage of tennis. Federer plays low percentage of tennis. Just look at Shapovalov, Grigor Dimitrov, and Stefano Tsitsipas, who have similar playing style like Roger Federer. Neither of those 3 are even near as successful as Roger Federer. Yeah, all those 3 are still playing tennis, but they will never be as successful as Roger Federer. We all know that. We all already know this. Why? Because playing tennis with this kind of a low percentage of margins like Federer does, with taking these big cuts on the ball, with going for the lines, with pulling the trigger, with not being a grinder like Djokovic and Nadal. All respect to Djokovic and Nadal. They also can be shot makers. They have great shot making skills. They have. I don't take them away from them. They can do a lot of winners as well. but they are not even as near as shot makers like Federer. Federer he has unbelievable shot making skills. Nobody comes near Federer's shot making skills. So, to be able to play this kind of unbelievable tennis with this kind of a small margins and being this successful, I truly don't believe we will never see a new Roger Federer again. I truly don't believe that. We'll never do it. I think that Roger Federer's playing style is harder to execute than executing Nadal's and Djokovic playing style. Because Nadal and Djokovic, they stay back on the baseline. They just hit the ball, just hit from the baseline and just hit blow after blow, blow after blow, blow after blow, and tries to outgrind his opponents, their opponents. They don't take big cuts on the ball. They don't go much for the lines. They don't play chip and charge. They don't slice so much. They don't play ultra aggressive. All the things I mentioned, Nadal and Djokovic doesn't do, Federer does. And executing playing Federer's style like Federer do is much harder. And Federer has been doing this for 21 years. Since he became professional tennis player back in 1998. And he's retiring in 2022. So Federer has played professional tennis on the ATP Tour in 20 years' time and being this successful. 103 titles, 20 Grand Slam titles, 31 Grand Slam finals, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 31 Grand Slam finals. 310 weeks as world number one. 5 times he has finished the year as world number one. 286 as world number one consecutive weeks. That is a record nobody has taken from him. 286 world number one consecutive. Nobody has taken that. He has been unbelievable successful. Unbelievable. Yes, we all know that the biggest records he doesn't have. And to mention one big record, the most important record is the Grand Slams. He has 2 players who has surpassed him. And we all know who those 2 are. Nadal and Djokovic. Nadal with 22 Grand Slam titles and still playing. Novak Djokovic with 21 Grand Slam titles and still playing. And Federer has ended his career with 20 Grand Slam titles. I knew this when Federer didn't convert those 2 championship points 3 years ago in Wimbledon 2019 against Novak Djokovic. I knew that was Federer's last chance to adding another Grand Slam title to his career. I knew that. I swear I knew it. I said to myself, and I said it many times in my videos, Federer will never get a chance to win a 21 Grand Slam title like he did in that 2019 Wimbledon final. Anyway, Federer has had an unbelievable record. An unbelievable career. He has played 10 consecutive Grand Slam finals. I don't think nobody has broken that record. Neither Djokovic, neither Nadal. He has played 23 consecutive Grand Slam semifinals. He has played 36 consecutive Grand Slam quarterfinals. These 3 records, neither Djokovic, neither Nadal has ever broken. These are unbelievable stuff. So, and winning over 100 titles, 103 titles Federer has won in total in his career, is just unbelievable, breathtaking, impeccable stuff, man. It is impeccable. So, and you can see in Federer that he's really pleased with his career. Can we blame him? Of course. He said that in his interview. I've read his interview. I've heard his interviews. I was so famous back in the years when I was young to not be so consistent in my early years in my career, and then I became super consistent and going deep in almost all tournaments, and I was one of the big favorites in winning every single tournament that I played. From being very inconsistent in my early years in my career to being super consistent in my career for so long time, I'm really proud of that. This is a celebration. We should not be sad, he said. So he seemed really chill. And he has accepted when they have asked him, how do you feel in the GOAT debate? He said that I'm really proud just to be, my name to be mentioned in the GOAT debate. In the GOAT debate. So he knows that he will never go down as the greatest tennis player of all time, and he isn't the greatest tennis player of all time. This is not a sport of beauty. He has the most spectacular tennis style of all time. He is the most successful tennis player of all time with this hard, spectacular playing style of his, with going for the lines, taking big cuts on the ball, playing super aggressive tennis, being super ultra aggressive tennis player. He is the greatest tennis player of all time with this kind of play style. For sure he is. He is. But when it comes to number, when it comes to stats, he is not the greatest tennis player of all time. He is not. And I'm saying this as a huge Roger Federer fan. Djokovic or Nadal will go down as the greatest tennis player of all time when it is all said and done. And it is not all said and done yet, because Djokovic and Nadal are still playing tennis, but they don't have many more years left in their tank either. They don't, because they are not super young anymore. So, but Federer, he is really proud of his career. He's happy with all the things that he achieved. We all read and heard his message last week when he said, it has been an unbelievable journey. I never thought of being a ball boy from Basel when I was very, very young, to becoming this successful and to have this kind of a longevity career with such much success. I never dreamed of this kind of a career. I consider myself as one of the luckiest human beings on planet Earth. He is absolutely right. Of course, he should consider himself as one of the luckiest human beings on planet Earth. Absolutely. It is always sad when one of the greatest tennis players of all time, even one of the greatest athletes of all time, says it is done, I am done, I cannot play tennis anymore. It is of course super sad, but it will come for everybody. Next one who will retire from the big three, I believe it will be Rafa Nadal. The last person who will retire from the big three, I think it will be Novak Djokovic. So Federer retiring first from the big three, it is not a surprise. So Federer will not go down as the greatest tennis player of all time, not with numbers, not with stats, but he will for sure go down as the greatest tennis player of all time with this kind of playing style, for sure. Federer will leave a big hole in the game. Federer has made the sport really popular. People who don't like tennis so much, people who doesn't follow tennis so much, people who doesn't feel very passionate for the sport so much, have followed tennis because of Federer. Simple as that. And many of those will stop watching tennis now. Even me, as a big Roger Federer fan, will not follow tennis as maniac in the future. I will not. I will still watch tennis because I'm a big tennis lover, but not as a maniac like I used to do. For God's sakes, when Federer was in his peak of his career, I used to take off from work. I swear that to you guys. I used to take off from work just to see Federer's Grand Slam matches, quarterfinals, semifinals, or finals. I used to do that. I will not do that in the future. I will not take off. I will not take free off from work just to see, say, a quarterfinal or semifinal or a Grand Slam final. Grand Slam final, maybe I will do that because Grand Slam final for me is big tennis matches. But quarterfinals and semis, I will not do that, which I used to do with Roger Federer. So will he be missed? That is a dumb question. Of course it will be. Do you know what I will miss the most with Roger Federer? This maybe will come as a surprise for you guys. I will miss his name on the draw when the Grand Slam starts. Always when the Grand Slam starts, I look at the draw, I see the seeds, I see what kind of potential opponents Roger Federer will have in the fourth round, quarterfinal, semifinal. I will miss this. Just not seeing his name. I've followed his career in 21 years, my tennis friends all around the world. In 21 years. Federer has been professional in 24 years, because I said earlier in my video he has been professional in 21 years. No, he has been professional tennis player in 24 years, since 1988. 24 years, that is unbelievable stuff. So Federer will be truly missed, for sure. He is super thrilled, he's super happy with his tennis career, which he of course should be. For God's sakes, my tennis friends all around the world, many tennis players, majority of tennis players, doesn't even win one major. Doesn't even win one major. Let alone several, let alone double digit, and let alone 20 Grand Slam titles. That Federer winning 20 Grand Slam titles with this kind of a hard playing style, it's just breathtaking stuff. It is just out of this world stuff. It really is. I really don't think we will ever see I'm sorry, a tennis player in the future with this kind of a hard playing style, which Federer has played, and winning this many and being this successful. I truly never will. Take a player like Carlos Alcaraz. He plays a similar tennis style like Federer. Just the difference is with a double-handed backhand. I never believed that Carlos Alcaraz will win 20 Grand Slam titles. I really don't think so. I'm not even sure that Carlos will win double digit. I really am not. I think Carlos will for sure win multiple Grand Slam titles. He will. But I'm not super sure that Carlos will win double-digit Grand Slam titles like many out there are. For sure, he will not win 20 Grand Slam titles like Federer has done. Carlos Alcaraz, he reminds me much more about Federer than he does in Nadal and Djokovic. He's not a grinder, Carlos Alcaraz, a la Djokovic, a la Nadal. He's more of a shot maker, a la Roger Federer. So, which are Federer's biggest title? For me, this is a little hard decision. I've thought about this. It is between two Grand Slam titles that comes up in my mind. It is two. French Open 2009, for sure, one of Federer's biggest titles, because he chased that title for so many years, and we all know who was stopping him in so many years. It was Rafael Nadal. When he finally won that 2009 French Open, I had a big party. As a huge Roger Federer fan, I had a big party. I mean it, guys. I went to the dinner. Not alone. With many friends, maybe 5, 10 friends, and I was celebrating. I was so happy. Because I followed Federer so many years. Since 2001, I have followed Federer in 21 years. Since I first ever heard about him back in 2001 Wimbledon, and when he was going deep in French Open since 2005, but not before 2005. He was not going deep. He was losing early. But since 2005, he was going to semifinals, finals, and all the time he was stopped from same dude, Rafael Nadal. And I started to hate Rafael Nadal. I will be honest with you guys. I really hated Rafael Nadal. I hated him because I was saying to myself, this dude is stopping Roger Federer to win his only Grand Slam title that is missing in his resume, which was the French Open. When Rafael Nadal finally lost against Robin Söderling in that 2009 fourth round, I was celebrating like crazy because I knew this is Federer's lifetime opportunity. He will never get a better chance than this. And Federer almost got knocked out against Tommy Haas in the fourth round, against Juan Martín del Potro in the semi-final. He almost got knocked out, but he somehow survived those two matches, both against Tommy Haas and against Juan Martín del Potro, and finally won the French Open. So that is, for sure, one of Federer's biggest titles. And the other one is the Australian Open 2017, when he was out of the competition for 6-7 months and just made his comeback after his knee injury and won French Open. I'm sorry, Australian Open in 2017, and especially winning against 4 top 10 opponents. fourth round against Kei Nishikori, quarterfinal against Misha Zverev, semi-final against Stan Wawrinka, and in the final against his biggest rival, Rafael Nadal. And how did he win against Rafael Nadal? After being down 1-3 down in the fifth set and winning 5 straight games to win that fifth final set against Rafael Nadal 6-3. So it is between these two tournaments that are Federer's biggest title in his career. If he had won that Wimbledon tournament 2019, that would have been Federer's biggest title in his career, because that would have been the first ever time Federer defeating his two chief rivals, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, at the same Grand Slam event, and winning the title on the way by beating his two long rivals, Nadal and Djokovic. But unfortunately, it was, I guess, not meant to be, and he didn't win those 2 championship points. But he didn't win them, so for me, the French Open and the Australian Open 2017 are his biggest title in his career. Which one is the biggest, absolute biggest? If I could choose one of them, I still would pick French Open. Why? Because he has won Australian Open 6 times. French Open, he has only won it once. So I would pick French Open as his biggest title. And Australian Open 2017 on the second place. So his biggest loss, for me, for sure, it is the 2019 Wimbledon final. He said on his interview, on one of his interviews that I've heard during Laver Cup. I don't watch Laver Cup. For me, Laver Cup is not a ATP event that is important. I will be honest with you. I've not watched anything. But I've heard Roger Federer's interviews, and he said that when Barbara Schwett interviewed him, which is your biggest loss in his career, most heartbreaking loss, he said the Wimbledon final 2008 against Rafael Nadal. Me personally, I don't agree with him. That was also a big loss, absolutely a heartbreaking loss for Roger Federer and his fans. But for me, as a Roger Federer fan, the 2019 Wimbledon final is his biggest defeat in his career and most heartbreaking defeat in his career, both for him and for his fans. So Roger Federer has had an absolutely impeccable, breathtaking, out of this world career, a career that he should really be proud of. It has been a really joy watching Roger Federer's journey. It has been an unbelievable journey, a journey that we fans should be happy about. And I will say a message to all the tennis fans out there. I've said it before, I will say it again. You all should stop hating each other and stop writing nasty comments in YouTube sections, different tennis channels about the big three. Just appreciate, cherish them, because they will not be around forever. I said that I used to hate Rafael Nadal in the beginning of their careers because he was stopping Roger Federer. I don't hate Rafael Nadal anymore. I actually cheered for the big three. When Rafa plays a big final or semi-final against other players, I cheer for him if he doesn't face Federer. When Djokovic plays against other players who are not named Federer, I cheer for Djokovic. For instance, I cheered for Novak Djokovic against Daniel Medvedev in last year's US Open final. I really did. I cheered for Rafael Nadal against Daniel Medvedev in this year's Australian Open final. I cheered for Rafael Nadal in this year's French Open final against Federer. Why? Because I want to see history. Just imagine if we would have witnessed it when Novak Djokovic would have won all the 4 majors last year. He was 1 match away. We could have said we have witnessed history in which we have not seen in 52 years' time, since Rod Laver won all the 4 majors in the same year back in 1969. And Djokovic almost did it 52 years later. Why should I not cherish that moment? Why should I not cheer for that player, even though I'm not a Djokovic fan? I cheered for Novak Djokovic big times against Daniel Medvedev, but unfortunately Djokovic lost in last year's US Open final. So I want to send a message to all the tennis lovers out there. Stop hating, cherish these big three, the greatest tennis players of all time. because they will not be around forever. Now Roger Federer has left the sport. Soon Rafa Nadal will do, and then Djokovic will do that as well. They don't have much more left years. They don't have many more years left in their careers. They really don't, guys. So, I don't know more what to say, guys. I really don't. I think I've said already. It was really some words about the Laver Cup. I've not seen the matches, but Rafa Nadal, he cried like a baby. He showed big love for Roger Federer, and they really gave Roger Federer that love he deserves. They was taking him in the air. Rafa Nadal was crying like a baby. Djokovic also became a little tear-filled. He didn't cry, Djokovic, at least not what I saw. But Rafa Nadal, man, to have that kind of a long-time rival, which Nadal and Federer, for God's sake, Nadal and Federer, they faced each other 40 times. The head-to-head between Nadal and Federer is 24-16 to Nadal. And still kind of showing that kind of emotions that was really nice to see in some way. It was. And same with Djokovic. Djokovic and Federer, they are not the best friends. We all know that. Nadal and Federer, they come along much better. But Djokovic as well, he also showed some really good emotions and huge respect for Roger Federer. They faced each other 50 times, I believe, Djokovic and Federer. The head-to-head is 27 for Djokovic and 23 for Federer. So Djokovic also showed some huge and great respect for Roger Federer. Is Nadal and Federer's rivalry the greatest rivalry that we have ever seen? According to me, no. The greatest rivalry that we have ever seen is, in my personal opinion, it's between Djokovic and Nadal. They have faced each other 59 times. 30 matches has Djokovic won and 29 matches has Nadal won. So this is, for me, the greatest rivalry of all time. Anyway, big congratulations to Roger Federer for an unbelievable career. Thank you for all the beautiful moments that he has given us, to us tennis lovers. Thank you for all the great, beautiful matches that he has given to all us tennis lovers. He will be truly missed, no doubt about that. It will be strange going forward. I knew that this day will come. We all knew this. But now that we know that we will never see Roger Federer in a professional, competitive tennis tournament, he will still keep playing tennis on a not professional level, but we will never see him in professional level again, like Masters, Grand Slams, etc., etc. We will not see his name on the draw, and that is the thing I will miss the most: seeing Roger Federer's name on the draw. So he will truly be missed. But everything has to come to an end, like I said in the beginning of the video. Everything has a beginning, everything has an end. Besides God, he doesn't have a beginning or neither the end. But all the other things, they have a beginning and the end. And the end came for Roger Federer. He's 41 years old, but he should be proud of his career. He has had an unbelievable career. For me, no tennis player will give me joy watching like Roger Federer has given me. I truly mean it. He will not go down as the greatest tennis player of all time. He will not. I will be honest with that. He is one of top 3 greatest tennis players of all time. He will end in the 3rd place, at least for now. The greatest tennis players of all time will be Djokovic or Nadal when it is all said and done. But I will truly miss his spectacular tennis style. I will truly miss his shot-making skills. I will truly miss his chip and charge. I will truly miss his way of taking all the time from his opponents. I will truly miss all his winners. I will truly miss his aces. I will truly miss his forehand. I will truly miss his serve. I will truly miss his aura on the tennis court. I will truly miss his beautiful tennis style. I will truly miss his just shot-making skills from all places of the court, with forehand, backhands, net game, serves. Have I forgotten something? For sure I have. For sure I have. You name it, my tennis fans all around the world. So he will truly be missed, and I really don't think we will ever see a tennis player like Roger Federer, especially a tennis player with this kind of a playing style and being this successful that he has been. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace!